For the month of April, I finished a total of 5 books. One of those books is in like the self-help genre and it's not a work of fiction, so I'm going to save that book for last. So, first up on my list is The Nightingale by Christine Hanna. I read this book at the start of April, so at the very start of the month, and I think it took me until like the second week in April to finish it. It was very slow paced. I will say that it took me a while to get invested into the characters, which is why I didn't rate it as highly as I probably should have. I think I rated it a 3.5 star. The characters get tied into the end really nicely, and I can see why people enjoy this book so much. But for me, I couldn't get into it. Okay, I don't know what was wrong with me. I think starting my month off with such a heavy book really got to me. If you don't know anything about The Nightingale, it follows two sisters who live in France when Nazi Germany takes over. You get to explore both of their stories, both points of views. The one sister is very, like, she just doesn't like what's going on, so she's very emotional, and she's very driven, and the older sister is more responsible. And you get to see both of their storylines and how they interact with one another, and how the older sister tries to keep the younger safe, and how the younger sister takes more risk. And I liked following around the younger sister a lot more. I will say that I can relate as an older sibling to the main character, to one of the main characters, the older sister. But I don't know, I just couldn't get into some of the things that she does. I just couldn't follow. But I like how she tries to protect her younger sister. And in the end, I really did enjoy the ending a lot. I think that's why I rated it a little bit higher than I probably should have. In my opinion, obviously this book is amazing and it has such a loyal fan base, and I wouldn't come for that in a million years. But I did enjoy what I read. Was it a 5 star for me? Unfortunately, no. Next up on my list is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is a very popular fantasy series. I could not get into this. I think I rated it a 2.5 stars. Peyton is the main character. She's born into this fantasy realm, and she has no powers in a society filled with what they call elites. These are people with powers, and it follows along her story, and she meets a prince, or two princes. Both of them have powers, and Kai is the enforcer, basically meaning he is in charge. He is the one that is supposed to kill the people who have no powers. And that is where these two have conflict. However, the writing style of this series just did not do it for me, and it drew so many parallels from so many other fantasy series that we know and we love, like Hunger Games. I guess that's kind of dystopian, but also fantasy, Fourth Wing. There was so many parallels between those two that I couldn't get into it. I don't know. I can't describe it. Okay, maybe it's because I came off of The Nightingale and it was such a heavy kind of story, and then I just go straight into a fantasy novel. I don't know what was going through my head with that, but it wasn't for me, and I'm probably not going to continue the series. So my rating still stands at 2.5 stars. Okay, next up we have Flawless by Elsie Silver. This book, okay, I am on my cowboy kick. Okay, at this moment in time, I'm on the cowboy kick. No one can stop me. I finished 7 Seconds, the movie, and I just happened to pick up this book right after. This book is also about a bull rider, so if you like the movie 7 Seconds, this is for you. Okay, this is your stuff. Rhett Eaton is a troubled bull rider, and Summer Hamilton is his accomplished publicist. She is funny, sarcastic, and she doesn't take any from no one, okay? Absolutely no one. Not even her dad, who owns the publishing company that Rhett Eaton is contracted to. After he finds himself in a scandal, then Summer is prescribed to babysit him. So it's basically close proximity, and you get to see these two's relationship bond over the entirety of the book. And let me just tell you, I was laughing. This book had me laughing so hard at some of these punchlines and inside jokes. And with every Elsie Silver book I've read, there's like a little quirk in the very first few chapters, and it just stays within the entire book. And it's so hard to describe them to anyone who has not read the books. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about, okay? Even in this book, it's like in the very first few chapters, it talks about how he doesn't like milk. And he was doing a commercial for a milk company. They just happened to catch this little snippet of him, and it got leaked online. And that caused an entire scandal for him. And that little comment stayed true the entire book. People were making fun of him about his little milk thing. I don't know, it was just so cute and funny, and it just reminded me of like people messing with each other and just having a good time. And when things got heavier, it was like they never got too heavy, they just stayed light. So it's like a cute little romance. If you're in between some heavy books, I highly recommend. My list is a 2.5 star. This is Caraval or Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is the series that you have to read before the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which is why I am sitting through it, okay? Because if not, I probably wouldn't. Like I said, I rated it a 2.5 star. 3-star books are still good in my standard, but they're not books that I would recommend to people, but I still enjoyed. I enjoyed the first couple of chapters for this book. The way that they described the world and the world building around the characters is amazing. Like, you can picture yourself being here with the characters, and I really, really enjoyed that. I didn't enjoy so much the writing and the empty plot lines. I feel like the book just skips over a lot of the things that are necessary for the impact that the end has. Because without them, it doesn't make as much sense. And I feel like that's where most people got lost with this book. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to read the second book, probably the third book as well, just so I can finish out the series and read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, because I have heard so many good things about that series, so that is next on my list. But for right now, I'm going to give this whole world a break at the moment, because the way that this book ended has me feeling some certain way, and it was just such a heavier book. So I went from the lighthearted country romance back to the heavy fantasy stuff. I don't know why this is my thing. But the book I have to talk about is Atomic Habits. This is in the self-development genre, and I rated this book a 4.5 stars. Honestly, this book did not, from like the very first page to the very last page, normally in a self-development book, it's like they teach you the main thing that they want to teach you, and then they just continue on for like another 30 pages about something completely random. And this book was not like that at all. It was like every single thing compounded towards the main idea, which is that similarly to a savings account, when you do put money into a savings account, the more money you put in earns more interest. And similarly to habits, if you keep working out consistently every single day, you're getting 1% better, even if you're not seeing the progress right now. My favorite comparison that it made was to ice. If the room is at 19 degrees and you continuously make progress towards it, you keep trying to heat up the room, you won't see any results until you hit 32 degrees, then it'll start to melt. It's saying that when you are making progress at first, when you are working out, you will continue to work out for 1 to 2 weeks and still not see any results. But the second you hit that 3rd or 4th week, that is when the ice cube melts. That is when the plateau ends. So it's saying hold out hope and I really, really, really enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the contents of it. It really helped me to make more progress towards my reading goal. My goal for the end of this year is 50 books. And I did 25 books last year. That was my reading goal. Completely smashed that. I hit 27 books in total for the entire year. This year, I am hitting 50 books. And at the end of April, I had finished 17. So this is me exploring my habits, changing what I was doing. Now I'm reading 50 pages a day, and that's been helping me tremendously with reaching this goal, and it has not felt nearly as overwhelming as it did a few months ago. And that is just my opinion. So if you're looking for better books to read, honestly, I would say this month my two favorite books would be Atomic Habits and Flawless. So if you follow me on my Goodreads account, you can see the books I'm currently reading in real time. You can also see any reviews that I leave on any books. So you would have the first scoop before I could even post about it. I also have an Instagram account that I'll leave linked below. And that is the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching.